All right, here's the rundown for today's San Francisco 49ers report. Does Brandon Aiyuk want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler after he tweeted at Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin? We're going to dive into that. Also, the Niners linked to a former All-Pro cornerback. Could they go that route in NFL free agency? First, today's show is sponsored by 8 Sleep. You can get $200 off the pod cover in addition to free shipping at 8sleep.com/chatsports. We'll tell you more about what 8 Sleep has to offer coming up in just a few minutes. As for the latest on Brandon Aiyuk here, let's get you caught up. Multiple teams are interested in trading for the 2020 first-round pick. This is no surprise. He's continued to get better every season, a former first-round pick who developed into an all-pro, and last year he was a top 10 wide receiver in the game. He can really do it all. He's a game changer and a game breaker, and other teams are looking for a player of that caliber. There has been, up to this point, no definitive reporting that the Niners are actually openly shopping him. But the buzz, Aiyuk entering that 5th year after the Niners exercised this 5th-year option, he's going to want wide receiver 1 money. It's going to check in at about $25 million per year, and will the Niners want to fork over that cash bag? We talked about this tweet and report yesterday from Andrew Filipponi of 93.7 The Game in Pittsburgh. He said, according to sources, the Steelers have looked into Niners wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk. He's entering the last year of his contract. The Steelers would have to execute a sign-and trade, but Pittsburgh has shown interest. Now, he tweeted that out yesterday morning. A couple of hours later, Brandon Aiyuk, who doesn't use X that much and doesn't send out a lot of tweets, said this, and he added Mike Tomlin, the head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he did say, they're saying that we're twins. What do you think with eyeball emojis? That eyeball emoji that really represented how a lot of Niner fans were thinking yesterday, because it opened up the eyes of a lot of people within the faithful. And honestly, from Brandon Aiyuk, I do appreciate the humor here. I don't think he's trying to indicate he wants to go to Pittsburgh. I think he's playing with our emotions a little bit because he knows it's all about the storyline. It's all about negotiating. It's all about leverage. He's trying to drive that price tag up so that he can get paid the way that he wants to get paid. And when you look at Brandon Aiyuk and Mike Tomlin, very similar beard, they do look a little bit alike. When Brandon Aiyuk gets a little bit older, in his 50s, is he going to look like Mike Tomlin? Who the hell knows? But some good humor there from the Niners' number 1 wide receiver. And Pittsburgh this offseason, they've been busy, by the way. They've been moving and shaking. Trades, free agency. They signed Russell Wilson. They traded for Justin Fields. So their quarterback room is going to look a whole lot different than what it did this past year. They traded their number 2 wide receiver, Diontae Johnson. They signed linebacker Patrick Queen away from a division rival in the Baltimore Ravens. Because they traded Johnson, they need another wide receiver next to George Pickens. Ideally a number 2. I don't think Brandon Aiyuk is a number 2. He's a number 1, and you're going to have to pay him as a number 1. Where it becomes interesting is that if the Steelers really want Aiyuk, and they want to give him that deal, and if the Niners don't want to give him that deal, they're going to have to give away the 20th overall pick. Aiyuk was the 25th overall selection. Now he's an all-pro. One of the best wide receivers in the game. To me, the value there starts there. And the thought process here is that if the Niners don't want to give Brandon Aiyuk a new deal worth around $25 million per season, they could fetch a first-round pick back, and then with that selection, let's call it 20th, from Pittsburgh, and 31 overall, they can get their Brandon Aiyuk replacement for a lot cheaper, in addition to an offensive lineman. And I've seen a lot of you chirping me in the comment section on YouTube, on X, on Instagram. A lot of you are saying, Chase, stop talking about this. Look, let me preface all of this by saying I absolutely love all of you who watch the show, the lovers and the haters. Thank you so much for the support. I'm not the one who tweeted at head coach Mike Tomlin. That's number 1. Number 2, This is my job to talk about this storyline because it's one of the biggest storylines in the NFL right now. Number 3, I am not going to carry the 49ers jockstrap. You've changed my life on all of these platforms because I have this incredible job and amazing opportunity with being able to talk Niner football to people worldwide. But I'm always going to keep it real. If the Niners do something good, I'm going to praise them. When they do something bad or something that I think is stupid, I'm going to rip them apart and I'm going to criticize them. I'm also going to provide thought-provoking content. This is a massive story. I'm going to discuss it. Ultimately, I think the Niners will sign Brandon Aiyuk to a contract extension. If I was running the front office, I'd sign Brandon Aiyuk to a new deal. He's a great weapon for Brock Purdy. He's developed into one of the best wide receivers in the game. Going into the 2022 season, I was saying that Brandon Aiyuk was better than CeeDee Lamb. The Niners have invested so much in him. I reported at the NFL Scouting Combine that the Niners want to keep Aiyuk around. They want him as part of the future. And look at what he did this past year. It's hilarious that I've seen Pittsburgh Steelers fans saying, he's not that good. We wouldn't want him anyway. Really? Yards per catch, number 2. Yards per target, number 2 among all wideouts last year. Pro Football Focus wide receiver grade, number 2 behind Tyreek Hill. EPA, number 2. Receiving yards in a run-centric offense. Brandon Aiyuk finished 7th. And look at how good and how much better he has gotten each and every single season that he's been in the National Football League since the Niners drafted him with the 25th overall pick in 2020 out of Arizona State. He continues to hop in the lab and improve his craft and get better and turn into just a terrific all-around player who embodies what the Niners are all about. Player development, really good player, caring, toughness, physicality, and an overall dog. Niners should keep Brandon Aiyuk around. I want them to keep Brandon Aiyuk around. The only way, and I'll continue to say this, that he's not a Niner for the future is if he wants out where he wants wide receiver 1 targets, wide receiver 1 money, and if the Niners don't want to pay him. And if the Niners don't want to pay him, I'm going to rip him apart. Now, Jack Sperry is our Pittsburgh Steelers host here at Chat Sports. Let's talk some smack down in the comments section. I know a lot of you are clever. A lot of you like to talk a lot of smack. So type F Sperry down in the comment section because he's pushing for the Steelers to trade for Aiyuk. No Aiyuk to Pittsburgh. He's got to stay in the Bay. We'll get to Tre'Davious White coming up here just around the corner. But first, today's show is sponsored by 8 Sleep. 8 Sleep. Power a whole new you with a device that's absolutely sensational. 8 Sleep, the high-tech solution to your age-old sleeping issues. 8 Sleep's Pod 3 slips right over your mattress, bringing heating and cooling technology that keeps you comfortable and sleeping deeper for a better, more restful night. Sleep science shows that in order to sleep our best, our body temperature needs to drop in the early and middle part of the sleep and then rise in the morning. Well, the pod cover will improve your sleep by automatically adjusting your bed's temperature based on your individual needs. The cover can be added to any bed just like a fitted sheet, and it allows you and your partner to cool or warm your side of the bed as low as 55 degrees and up to 110 degrees. In addition to keeping you at the perfect temperature all night, the pod also tracks your sleep and health metrics. On average, pod users see their sleep quality improve by 32% after just 1 month on the pod. I said this at the start of the show. If you want $200 off, in addition to free shipping, where you can power everything from your phone, by the way, with the device right next to your mattress, 8 Sleep is where it's at. It's been incredible for me. It is the intelligent sleep system, and it's a whole new sleep to power a whole new you. Link is down below in the comments section and in the description of this video. Earlier this week, we talked about Tre'Davious White, who was let go by the Buffalo Bills in a cap-saving move, and we threw up this tweet from 49er Sports Talk. Can you imagine Tre'Davious White lining up next to Diamador Lenore and Charvarius Ward? And then Charvarius Ward quote tweeted that and said, well, we've got the same agent. If y'all want him, let me know. Now, in the days since that Twitter exchange, Tre'Davious White has visits set or has visited with the Raiders, with the Rams, and he's going to continue to make visits across the NFL. And ESPN is linking White to the Niners, saying it would be his best fit. Here's what ESPN had to say. Even given the injuries, White's performance still generally held up by the numbers. While he allowed sub 60% passer ratings during the 2019 and 2021 campaigns, he held opposing quarterbacks to a 75.6 passer rating on throws in his direction in 2022 and a 70.6 mark in the 4-game stint before the Achilles tear last year. He will nearly be a full season removed from the injury by the start of the year. So there's a chance he'll be able to play something resembling a full season in 2024. Best fit for Tre'Davious White. Here you go. San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco is set with its top 2 corners, Diontae Lenore and Tre'Davious Ward, but the third spot, a bit of a question mark. We saw teams pick on Ambry Thomas throughout the 2023 season, leading the Niners to bench him in the Super Bowl and play Logan Ryan in the slot. A miscommunication between Ryan and Ward helped free up Mecole Hardman on the touchdown that won Super Bowl 58. That game-winning Super Bowl touchdown. It brings back memories of me doing the watch party, which was an incredible day as far as business goes. 2.1 million people tuned into our Super Bowl 58 watch party. But as the Chiefs were marching down the field, converting on that 4th down and the 3rd downs, you just had that sinking feeling. The Niners are going to lose this game, aren't they? And then once I saw Mecole Hardman in motion, I said this right after the play. It's the same play that the Chiefs ran with Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney in the Super Bowl 57 against the Philadelphia Eagles that resulted both times in touchdowns, and then they pull off the trifecta. And totally right, nobody was even close to Mecole Hardman on that play. Crushing blow. But the Niners are trying to get back to that point, and Tre'Davious White could help them. Injuries the last couple of years where he has barely played. Tore his Achilles last year, also tore his ACL very recently as well. And from 2017 to 2020, guy was a baller. All-Pro, Pro Bowler, 15 picks, 54 pass breakups, 4 forced fumbles, 61 games played. That's from 2017 to 2020. 2021 to 2023, only 21 games played because of the ACL and Achilles tears. And, of course, the numbers go down. 3 picks as compared to 15, 14 pass breakups as compared to 54, forced fumbles down, and games played 40 less from 2021 to 2023 as compared to 2017 to 2020. Look, I know Tre'Davious White has been injured a lot. A lot of people earlier in the week were saying, this is going to be our next Jason Verrett. I'm good. Jason Verrett has been injured throughout his entire career. Tre'Davious White was healthy for the bulk beginning of the start to his career. And then he suffered the ACL, then the Achilles. Doesn't quite have the same injury history. It's a concern. But he's still only 29 years old. Still playing at a really high level. And if you put him in this secondary for an affordable price, if he wants to take an affordable price with a Super Bowl favorite, Tre'Davious Ward, Diontae Lenore, Tre'Davious White, that is a very good cornerback trio, and I'm about that business. What do you think? Should the Niners sign him? I for in, O for out. What say you? As always, we want to hear from the faithful as you venture down. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you next time here on the show.